Fantastic, Jesse, and in fact you've even made it to be greater because what you've had there, the hosting that you've had right from 9 p.m. has been wonderful, and especially when you had that wonderful lady called Amy Kosgei. I listened to Tai, and I felt maybe it could be telling you cheers, cheers, cheers for the punchy bulletin you've had so far.
I am humbled, Willis. It's always a pleasure. My, oh my. All right, let's get the show rolling and take a look at the word on the street before we get to learn more words from Willis, the word master.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Mausoleum. Mausoleum.
Well, I know this is a learning process and no one's perfect, but surely mausoleum, so much to go with, but we need to get the right word and how it's pronounced, Willis. So let the professional teach us right now.
Well, just see, in the first place, they really tried. And the way you've put it, nobody is perfect. That is something that I always tell people because not even Willis and not even any other person can know everything in this world. But whichever way, this word has the meaning a special building that holds the dead body of an important person or the dead bodies of a family. And you say mausoleum. Mausoleum. The A and U combine to form the long sound O, so you say mausoleum.
Mausoleum.
Yes, mausoleum. You have the stress on liam.
Mausoleum. Okay.
Yes, that way.
Well, we learn each and every day. Let's go to the next word now. The 200th anniversary of a significant event. It is a noun. Is it bicentennial or bicentennial?
Well, you talk about bicentennial. Bicentennial. When we're talking about celebrations of that kind, you say bicentennial celebrations. Bicentennial celebrations.
Bicentennial.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, tennial.
Bicentennial. Okay, now
yes.
A Christian name at baptism as a sign of admission to the church. You know, it's the past tense of Christen or christen. Is it christened or christened? Because there's a T there. Is it silent or do we actually pronounce it?
Yes. Just see, this is a tricky word. Commonly used locally. In fact, even when we talk about, to be given a name or to, be used for the first time, now that T is silent. It's not pronounced. A letter that is silent in a word is a letter that is not pronounced. So you say christen, not Christian, and you also say christened or christened. So that T is not pronounced. Just like you say hasten, not hasten or hasten, and hastened, not hastened or hastened. The T is silent. So our word is christened. Just like the boat has been christened Baghdad. The boat has been christened or christened Baghdad, not christened.
Well, that's perfect, Willis. Thank you for that. Now, a word that is
You're
used
welcome.
with reference to past events. Historically or historically?
Now, that is a tricky one, especially going by what people believe locally. Now, we must remember that that A can be elided. You elide over the A. You don't pronounce it, and you say historically, politically, basically. But when somebody cannot produce that consonant cluster of k, you can use the weak sound basically, politically, historically. But if you can, please say historically, basically, politically.
Many thanks, Willis. Over to the next word. It was formerly used as a narcotic painkiller. I mean an alcoholic solution containing morphine prepared from opium. It's mouthful. I hope I get it correctly. Laudanum, laudanum. Kindly help, Willis.
Oh, it's a tricky one. That is Laudanum.
Yes.
You say laudanum. Laudanum. The stress is at the onset. That is, the stress is at the beginning of that word. You say laudanum. Laudanum.
Laudanum. That's good. Now, this might be something most people relate to because we all have them. A strip of hair growing above the eye socket. I'm talking about the eyebrow, or is it eyebrow? Kindly help us, Willis.
Oh, yes. Many people say eyebrow, eyebrows, and those are the ones who get it. But there are people who find themselves saying eyebrows, eyebrow, high brow, middle brow, low brow, which are incorrect. You say eyebrow, eyebrows, high brow, middle brow, and low brow. So we say brow, not brow.
Brow. Okay. Okay. Thank you, bro, for clearly showing us that it is pronounced as eyebrow. Over to the next word. It's used to describe the appearance of a person, whether untidy or dirty, or better yet, describing an action that is careless. Now, is it slovenly or slovenly?
You say sla. That O takes what we call technically the mid-central sound just like in the word some, S-O-M-E, some. You don't say some. Love, love. You don't say love. Dove, you don't say dove. Glove, you don't say glove. So in this adjective, you say slovenly or slovenly, not slovenly. Just like you can say so and so is lazy and slovenly or slovenly in his or her habits.
All right, Willis, thank you for that. Now, an adjective that is used to describe something that's as great or as large as possible. Maximal or maximal?
Oh, the way you pronounced it in the first place, or the first pronunciation that you used. You say maximal. Maximal, just like you can talk about, to have maximal effects. To have maximal effects. Jesse, you would agree with me that sometimes there are people who say maximal, maximum, maxim. You must have heard that. But what we have for that X is the unvoiced sounding X. You say maximum, maxim, maximal. You don't say maximal.
Okay. Oh, it's an X, not a Z right there. Now, to a word that does have a Z, meaning shriveled or wrinkled with age. You know, a wrinkled, wizened individual, or is it a wrinkled, wizened individual?
I know you're talking about the word that means looking smaller and having folds or lines in the skin because of aging or being old. Is that so?
Yes, Willis.
Okay, yes. You say wizened the way you said it. You say wizened or wizened. Wizened, wizened. But what we should avoid is wizened. We don't have that diphthong. A diphthong is a dual glide. That is a glide on two vowel sounds. You say we, not y. Wizened.
Okay. As we move on quickly, now, is it delicious or delicious to describe something that is delightful or highly pleasant to the taste?
You say delicious. Delicious. Like a delicious dish or a delicious meal, Jesse.
Okay, many thanks, Willis. Now, before you actually give us the feedback and the surprising word, which is very important, I just have two questions. Perhaps you can include it in the feedback. inclination or inclination? You know, it's inclined. So do we carry it forth while saying inclination, or is it inclination? Also, is it pharaoh or pharaoh? I'm sure many guys would want to know this. Over to you, Willis.
Inclined, but you say inclination. Inclination. Our dear viewers, you say inclination, not inclination. Just like invite, invitation. Combine, combination. Not combination, not invitation. So that word you say, inclination. Then we have pharaoh. Pharaoh. In English, you say pharaoh. But in Kiswahili, you say pharaoh or firauni. So I hope you got that. Then Jacob Otiende of Kisumu, you say benevolent. Steve Wanganga of Nairobi, you say laboratory. I don't know where we always get laboratory. Laboratory, it's not there in English. Let us get it right. You say laboratory. Zakina Baraka of Mombasa, recipe, not recipe. And you also say ingredients, ingredients. Duncan Ouma of Ndiwa in Homa Bay County. Oh, thank you. Keep it up and be with us. But remember, you say data. Data, and you also say data. Those are alternative pronunciations of that word, and both are acceptable. You say data or data. But remember, you say data bank and database. But when you come to American English, you can also say data bank and database. Now, Karus Ondimu Mogusu of Karuax Kisi. Karus Ondimu Mogusu of Karuax Kisi, you say machineries. Machineries. Mwalimu Samuel Ogutu Omwanda of Magongo Oyani, I think it could be Magongo Primary School in Oyani of Migori County, you say flabbergasting. Nancy Thomas of Nairobi, equitable. Equitable distribution of resources. Equitable, not equitable. And you also say equity. Nancy Thomas, you get that clearly. Wambilianga Samson of Vihiga. Wambilianga of Vihiga, you say marauding criminals. Marauding. Don't say marauding. Marauding. Mwalimu Tom Omurwa of Amabuko, paraplegics. Paraplegics. Grace Mutunga, Victor Oyuke, Christine Oduor, and Vidija Dalizu. Oh, thank you. Keep it KTN always, and you'll get all these. We are also proud of you and all the other viewers. Now we go straight to the surprise word for tonight. Now, we have this word that means to eat everything quickly, and also to read or look at something with a lot of interest. You say devour. Devour. Don't say devour. Don't say devour. Don't say devour. Don't say devour. The accurate pronunciation of this word is devour. For those who understand phonetic transcription, that is the way we write the pronunciation using these phonetic symbols. You can see D, then the stress, then vour. Devour. Don't say devour. Don't say devour. Don't say devour. Don't say devour. You say devour. You also say flour. Maize flour. Flour, very common locally but inaccurate. That is wrong. You say maize flour, not flour. You also say scour. That is when you talk about to search a place or something thoroughly. To scour, not to score. Then we have the confusing words. The upper word, when we talk about the materials that are made by weaving or knitting, you say cloths. Get the sound of O, cloths, cloths. But when you talk about, C-L-O-T-H-E-S, like when we have to clothe, the verb to clothe, don't say to clothe, clothe. That is to dress yourself or somebody else. But here the plural form, you say clothes, clothes. So, cloths, cloths, clothes, clothes. What makes English and any other language so sweet and very effective in communication is when you work well on grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation so that you don't confuse anybody whom you are talking to as a target audience. Very important. Finally, when you watch KTN every Friday night, you have a chance to understand how sometimes you can use a good dictionary and any other reference material to know those sound symbols. Like in this case, we have the glide ew, ew, just like in this word, Q. You say to Q, take a Q, take the Q, due, few, new. So you'll see something like a J, and then U, and then we have something that looks like a full colon. This is now showing you, when you see this in a dictionary, you'll realize that when there is a consonant letter, like now D, here, due, it will be that letter D, which is now representing the sound, then this one, then you have that. This one is the glide ew. But remember the same glide. When you have a word like you are sick, you'll also see something like this. But when you know them, definite knowledge helps, and there is no full stop at any time when it comes to matters learning. Learning has no full stop. Otherwise, dear viewers, when you want also to interact with me, maybe in the course of the week, remember you can always go to Twitter, and the handle is at Willis Ochieng 1. I repeat, at Willis Ochieng 1. But the real or the actual pronunciations, don't miss Friday briefing every Friday, and that is only on KTN. Back to Jesse Rogers in Nairobi.
Many thanks, Willis. It's always a pleasure. Looking forward for next week, and as he mentioned, feel free to interact with him via his Twitter handle, Willis Ochieng 1. Many thanks, Willis. Have yourself a lovely evening.
My pleasure.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Well, we've come to the end of Friday Briefing, exactly 26 minutes past 10 p.m. It's always a pleasure, and I must say thank you on behalf of the whole team of supporting and watching the Friday Briefing. My name is Jesse Rogers. Have yourself a good night. Let's meet Friday next week, same place.